Oh my God. This is my first YouTube video. Hi, y'all. What's popping? What's good? For those of y'all that don't know and are new here, I'm Diamond. I'm a personal stylist, so I help creators and CEOs elevate their personal brands through style. And I'm also the host of the Dope Creator Podcast, where we get real with your favorite creators. And I'm also a certified hype queen. And I've decided to try something new and look great and post more videos on YouTube. And so for the next 30 days, I'm going to be consistently posting on YouTube outside, outside of my podcast, and we're going to see where it goes. So to start things off, today I'm going to get into a few things. Number one, the importance of protecting your identity as a creator and not losing yourself in your corporate job. Number two, the tea on what I've been up to and why I literally disappeared for a month. So, first and foremost, let's get into the importance of protecting your identity as a creator. So, you are a human being first, a creative second, whatever else in between, maybe your mom, maybe, just a bad bitch, like you're something in between. And then at the end, last, if you have a 9 to 5, you are an employee. So you are meant for more than work and death. And these companies don't always see that. They want to see you eat, sleep, and breathe them, y'all, to the point where you're literally having nightmares about them. And we haven't even gotten into the deep issues that come with being a woman or person of color, like microaggressions, tokenism, belittlement, targeting, intentional sabotage, expecting you to work 500 times harder in order to get the same respect, to be seen as worthy, or being told to share your amazing result-producing resources, strategies, and skills with the team, only to be let go a week later. We put so much of our identities into work that we forget about ourselves. We forget who we really are apart from our job titles, and that can literally be to our detriment. Because if we get fired, laid off, or if the company goes under, we're beyond devastated or even depressed and feel like the world is ending and our life sucks, right? Our mental health suffers, and we have to refigure out who we are. And I know a lot of us also love to have control. And you may even fear losing control, right? I get it. I'm the same way because I've experienced toxic situations in which I lacked control and literally almost lost my life because of it. But you have to learn to be okay with not having control over everything because it will drive you mad. You can't control whether or not a company stays loyal to you just as you do them, but you can control your identity as a creator. Think about what being a creator means to you and hold on to that. For me, being a creator means freedom. Freedom to be myself, which I never feel like I could as a kid. I was very quirky, very weird, and I feel like I could not be her. So I just, kept myself quiet in a box. And lo and behold, she is out of that box and she is wild, right? Freedom to fail and make mistakes. Freedom to create things that can change people's lives or add value, right? Freedom. And we love freedom. Freedom! Okay. And so for me, I recently had to be reminded of that the hard way because I was fired from what I thought was my dream job at what was, at the time, my dream company. And this resulted in me disappearing for a month. So it's tea time. Now, let's backtrack a little bit to how I even got into the creator industry, right? If you haven't noticed by now, your girl loves fashion, right? Fashion is my thing. But how did I go from fashion and go into the creator industry? So, back in 2019, for the girlies that may not know, I moved to Berlin for 2 years. And why did I do that? Because free, no kids, single, young, like go see the world, y'all. If you have the access, the capability, go travel, okay? Go see the world. So I moved to Berlin for 2 years, worked in an NGO, and that is where I really got into working with creators. So I ended up picking up fashion styling there, finally listening to my own voice and not other people's voices, and really just started doing a lot of photo shoots. So I did photo shoots for magazines there. So yes, your girl is a published stylist. Don't play with it, okay? Don't play with it. And I also just worked with tons of other creators, photographers. And so that's where I really got into it. I also helped with content creators and helped them with their content and showing up in their brand, right? Helping them with their image. And so that's where I really was like, oh my gosh, I really want to continue working in personal styling and actually helping creators and CEOs with their brands online. So from there, after I moved back from Germany, I moved to Dallas. So I lived in Dallas for a year. And then from there is when I decided to work for a luxury company. And I'm not going to say their name because even though they were great, they were toxic. That's it. But I got to get a lot of exposure to a lot of luxury brands. And that is where I really fell in love with fashion. And honestly, it was also dangerous because I started to look at dresses and I'm like, oh my gosh, this dress is $600. that's nothing. That's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. But it is what it is. Like, you know. And so from there, I ended up quitting working there because it got, again, really toxic, out of hand. And I also realized like I really wanted to work more back with creators somehow. So I went from there to working with Amazon The Drop. And so with Amazon, I was also a fashion specialist. So I did a lot of data entry and as well as styled creators for their collections. So every creator that was chosen had their own collections. And so there I was able to actually style their collections, their landing page. And so if people came on and decided to shop, they would buy additional items. Yes, that was me. That was your girl. Boop.
Sensational.
Loved it. And then I ended up getting laid off, right? And so from there, I transitioned into another company, which is another creator company. And so I'm extremely, extremely passionate about creators. I love y'all, okay? Like I'm literally ride or die for you, okay? So when I finally got what I thought was my dream job for said creators, I was over the moon. Keep in mind, I tried for over a year to get a position at this company. I was committed because I was like, this is a company that I see myself at for years. And this is where I really just see my career growing. I start the job, right? And so you know how when you first start a new job, especially a corporate job, right? A corporate girly, right? With the decent salary, the good old benefits, baby, all that, right? You start walking different, your hair changes a little bit, you know, your taste changes, right? Brunch start looking better every day. Eating out starting to look good, okay? You start looking at wigs so you can find that good bust down, right? So you're gonna have all the girlies on your knees, okay? You start mentally planning trips and planning how you're going to use every cent of every benefit they offer. Every cent, okay? So y'all, I'm excited AF, okay? I love my manager, my colleagues, like I'm living the life. My first month there, I exceeded my quota, top ranking, all that, like receiving so much praise, like whoop-de-woo. Things are going great, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna be here for a little minute, right? January hits and I'm literally crying with goosebumps because I get to visit the headquarters of said company that I'm actually a part of, right? I've been to New York before where I've got to visit like different headquarters of different fashion companies, but I never actually worked for that company, right? So actually being a part of this company and being able to go to headquarters is really surreal for me. It was really monumental for me because I'm the first in my family to actually have a corporate salary job, you know, that's remote with great benefits. Like I'm literally over here breaking generational curses, y'all. So on top of that, I didn't even have to pay for nothing. Okay. It was on the company's dime, not mine. All right. So during this time, there's excitement for the year to come, right? New goals, new quota, etc. Like all of that good stuff. And everyone's a little hesitant on my team was a little hesitant about the new process and a new quota because we're like, it seemed a little unrealistic at the time, especially since this was a completely new team. So we're still in the learning phase and also the testing phase, right? And so, but we like, you know what? Let's do it. We got it. Couple weeks into the new year, I had to get dental surgery. So off bat, I already know I'm gonna be behind on my quota because your girl can't talk, right? She's getting her wisdom teeth pulled, she's getting her another root canal, her teeth cleaned, like she's getting all this stuff done. I can't move my mouth, okay? So I couldn't talk for at least a week or two. manager, the boss telling me like, no, you're fine. Like, I understand you're going to be behind. All good. Like, you had surgery. Please take care of yourself. Okay. So I'm already knowing I'm going to be behind, but okay, cool. We're in the green. We're in the clear. We're fine. Right. Because, dental surgery. Okay. Right. Because, dental surgery. And so February hits, right? February hits. So during this time, my boss and another team lead began regularly joining my creator calls because first and foremost, my job was to meet with creators daily, set up meetings, and create strategies to help them grow their following and their earnings. It went from constructive criticism, constructive feedback, which I always welcome. Like, I always want to improve, always want to grow. Please tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can be better. I always want to be better, please. But it went from constructive criticism to micromanaging and using every mistake I made against me. And it was absolutely insane because they started using that as like, oh my gosh, she can't do her job. She's not doing her job well, yada, yada. When my creators are telling me, thank you so much. Like, you're helped me so much. Like, I've tripled my income, my following, this and this happened. Like, I'm getting all the praise, but yet these people are telling me that I'm not doing my job correctly. Okay, it is what it is, right? So the feedback I've received went from simple Slack messages to, okay, this is what you can improve on, this is what you can stop doing, all that good stuff, to constant emails. That's when I knew they were keeping a paper trail on me. And I'm like, hell. I immediately assume the worst, but I don't say a word to anyone at this time because I started convincing myself, maybe you're tripping a little bit, right? Maybe you're reading too deep into this, but y'all, when your intuition tells you something is off, listen, and I promise you, I will never not listen to it again. Okay, listen to your intuition when it tells you something is off, right? And so my boss would continue, getting in our one-to-one, saying, hey, we're here to support you. We just want to see you do better. Want to see you, all this kind of stuff. But I'm like, it doesn't feel like it, but I'm going to put my fake smile on, right? Okay. And so there was even a time, where we were going through the creators I was working with, and she made a comment about one of my creators' names. You already know where the Black folks know where I'm going with this, okay? If there was like plenty of creators that I worked with that had African names, but there was one specifically that she saw and pointed out and was like, why don't y'all ever have names that I can pronounce? My flabber was gasted. What? What do you mean? What do you mean, Sarah? What do you mean? We don't have names that you can't pronounce. I'm confused. What? So so I'm sitting on the call and I'm just kind of staring. And then we do the black thing, the switch thing, where we just sit there and smile like everything's fine when it's not. And so I'm just like, a key, move on, whatever. This continued on for the next few months. I was at the company. Small, ignorant comments, right? And at this point, I had a gut feeling I was being targeted, right? Not only with the comments, but as well as the nitpicking. And it came to that point because I'm like, why am I the only one going through all of this? Why is no one else on the team dealing with it to my extent? Like, I was confused. How did I go from being this amazing star employee who knows what she's doing, who's doing great, to now we're watching your every move because you don't know what you're doing? 3 weeks before I was let go, I received a written notice. I have never received a written notice in my entire life, y'all. My heart dropped. I was in shambles because I'm like, what do you mean I'm getting a written notice? What do you mean? Right? So I'm just sitting on this call and I'm like, okay, cool. It's totally fine. Like, we can get through this, right? Until they get to the nitty-gritty. And they say, yeah, if you don't meet all of these standards on the dot and exceed them, we're letting you go. Basically, you're going to get fired. Keep in mind, right, that literally no one And I mean no one met their quota. Absolutely no one. So I'm just like, okay, yada yada, whatever, keeping up the business, the corporate, because you're not finna catch me slipping, right? Because it's a thing in corporate America when they want to catch the black folk tripping or people of color tripping, and they want to use that, continue using that, right? You're not gonna catch me tripping. You're not gonna catch me, okay? Okay, cool, great. Nevertheless, I kept a positive attitude, right? And I'm like, you know what? It's totally fine. Like, I'm gonna get through this. Warranted yet another slick comment from my boss because she was shocked that I, a black woman, kept a great attitude without burning everything to the ground. At this point, I knew that I was being targeted. And I still had that itty bitty voice in my head telling me, nah, girl, you tripping. You tripping. You crazy. There's no way they're targeting you. Yo, that same day, my colleague texted me and she was like, hey, we need to chat this week because we had our chats like, about once a month. We would just continue throwing tea because, black women, we got to stick together. Okay. We got to stick together. Y'all, as soon as I hopped on that call, the first thing she said was, you're being targeted. Keep in mind that I didn't tell her anything. I hadn't said a word. She did not know what had just happened, or the fact that I had that same exact gut feeling. Why am I being targeted? I know y'all can't be scared of a podcast, can't be scared of what are you scared of? And what y'all have to know and remember is that these people are so miserable at their jobs or miserable with their lives that if they see any type of light in you, they want to dim that light real quick. They can't stand the thought of someone else being successful or someone else being better or someone else being good if they can't meet those same standards. Regardless, one, peep that energy. When you peep that, take a step back, hold on to your light. Do not dim your light for nobody, okay? Nobody. Fast forward the Thursday before I was let go, because I was let go that Monday. The Thursday before I was let go, I was called into an emergency meeting and accused of lying and falsifying information. And at this point, I was so tired. I was exhausted from fighting, from being strong, from doing whatever. I just let it happen. I was like, whatever. Because at the end of the day gonna end. But at the end of the day, y'all gonna say whatever, do whatever. And I'm already knowing that y'all gonna let me go next week, right? So y'all, after that call, I texted my friend and I was like, yo, I'm about to lose my job. My stable, fulfilling job that I loved at my dream company at the time, I'm about to lose it. He FaceTimed me, y'all, and as soon as he asked what happened, just tears. And not like regular cute, like a cute, like y'all. I'm saying ugly tears. There's like there's everything. Because I'm just so overwhelmed and disappointed and embarrassed about what just happened. I'm about to lose my job. That man saw the ugliest cry I have ever crowed in my entire life. I was damn near embarrassed, right, because of my situation. But he sat there for 2 hours, y'all, and just let me cry, trying to give me solutions, to calm me down, just let me do what I needed to do to get myself back together briefly. Because it wasn't over. I still had multiple breakdowns the following weeks, but at that time I was like, I'm tired, I'm done, just whoa, right? So I get off the call, I wipe my tears, and I got myself together. Because one thing about me is if I have other further business that later that day was not going to happen. You're not going to stop me from fulfilling that business, right? So I had my final call with two creators actually that day, one with a new creator and one with the creator I have been working with for months, right? Loved her so deeply. We built such a great relationship. Like, she did so well, saw so much growth. I was just so proud of her from where she started, from how she was. So this was like a really emotional day for me, y'all. And then not only that, but I also had a podcast episode to record. Okay. And one thing I told myself, it was like, I refuse to let what I'm dealing with right now with this company affect my own dreams. That's what I said. That's what I did. So I wiped myself up, got myself together, breathed, puffy eyes and all. I don't even know if my eyes were still puffy in the episode. You probably find it. But got myself together, recorded that episode. It was beautiful. It was great. So I'm laughing because I was fired on April 1st. Yes, April 1st. Like, is this a joke? Is my life a joke to you? I got fired April 1st for what was labeled as low performance when I knew and a couple of others knew that it was much deeper than that, right? And even though I felt like my stability was unfairly ripped away, because y'all, I've been through some things. And I was so relieved and so happy that I finally got a stable job and I just saw things finally getting better. But y'all, even though I got this job ripped away from me, and yes, I, grieved it, I was also relieved because I could breathe. Because during those last couple months, it was so suffocating. Like, I was going crazy, started thinking that I was a problem, what's wrong with me, all this type of stuff, to the point where it literally affected my mental health. And why am I having multiple breakdowns? Yeah. Now, even though I was breaking down multiple times a week behind the camera's off, right? I still continue to drop content every week for the month of April, right? Still editing, recording, podcast, doing all of that. May came, I dropped the final episode, and I was like, I need to take a pause. I need to stop posting and fully take care of myself, right? Let myself grieve, because I didn't allow myself to fully grieve. I didn't allow myself to fully process and deal with what had happened. So I took that time to build myself back up physically, mentally. My therapist had a time. She is stuck with me forever. You know too much about me. Where are you going? Hope you're watching this. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. Yeah. So I'm back here to say I will never lose sight of who I am again for the success of a company that isn't mine. I'm so tired of companies claiming that they care about you, and then after an allotted time with a company, they begin exposing themselves. I've never been in a situation where I finally get to work for my dream company and I'm disappointed. It's ripped away from me because of whatever underlying issues that was there. There was a lot that could have been behind it. Not even going to try to guess what it is. I have assumptions, but all I can do is assume, right? I have never had that happen to me before. So being in that position, in that situation, really shocked me. Like, I don't know how to deal with this. What am I supposed to do with this? Now, what I will say, now that I know what I didn't know, I know what to do if anything were to happen, like this again. And it's also just mind-boggling because you're saying that you care about Black or diverse employees and creators, but the math is literally doing the opposite of mathing. If you, as a company or a business, are struggling to retain Black employees and Black creators are raising an eyebrow and noticing that they're getting treated differently and it's harder for them to get the same brand opportunities as their white counterparts, clearly you're the problem. Nevertheless, I digress. I'm still here and I'm still pushing. And yes, still job searching because job searching is ghetto. Yeah, it's ghetto. It's a little psychotic, actually. You hear stories about people getting laid off and fired and then becoming millionaires, but y'all, it's not the reality for everyone, because where's my money? Where's my money? I'm still waiting for the zeros to hit my account, and I currently only see one. However, one thing I've learned during this season, aside from not losing my identity in a job or my sanity, is letting people help me or accepting help. As someone who has grown up with just doing it all, has seen my mom do it all, and I just never had anyone help me or knew how to ask for help, because that's all I knew was to do it all myself. It's hard for me to accept or ask for help. But now look, I'm like, help me!
Help me! Help me! Nigga!
Also allowing myself to be more feminine, but I'll get more into those in my next video, because guys, we're on YouTube now, okay? What I will say is that one thing that I know that I am no longer embarrassed about, or the thought of, right? Food stamps. Food stamps. Embarrassment of applying for food stamps was because my mom left all of it, and it's connected to a stigma of being poor, and it's just really seen as something that's like, oh, black people are going to use, food stamps because they're all fucking poor, right? So for me, I viewed it that as I'm a failure, right? But now I'm like, I'll do anything for food stamps. Like, what do you want? What do you need? Like, I'll literally drop it low. I'll let it down like it's warm. You know what I'm saying? Because, you may hear my knees crack a little bit, but, that's besides the point, because do you know how expensive groceries are? Hell yeah, I need some free food. Give me some free food. You understand? But y'all, it don't even matter, because I got denied, because according to the government, I make too much for food stamps. I'm gonna let that sink in. But anyways, nevertheless, as I continue working on my brand and looking for another job, I'm really looking forward to continue working with creators. You know what I'm saying? Because creators, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Do you understand? I love you. Okay. So working with creators, at agencies or someplace, etc., that actually care about diversity, and not saying they do simply for the black coins or to look good in front of the public on social media, right? Right. In conclusion, to wrap it all up for this video, not for the next one or the one after, but for this video, even though things may not go the way you planned, you have to learn how to adapt and keep pushing to get to the other side. That's what life is. It's a roller coaster. It's full of ups and downs, and how you deal with each of those obstacles that come your way is going to determine how you look on the other side, whether or not you meet your goals on the other side. Because in order to get to that goal, you gotta go through some shit. All right. And so I know for myself that when I get to the other side, there's something good for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same for you too. So whether or not you relate to this in some way, let your girl know down there in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and like and subscribe too. I should have said that in the beginning of the video. But I digress. I'm new to this, not true to this, but I will be true to this. Give me some time. But go ahead, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But what I also will say is, while you're trying to get to wherever that end goal is, don't lose your identity in the process. Stay true to yourself, stay true to who you are, and improve where you need to, because we all need to grow. We all need to improve in different areas of our lives, throughout our lives. You understand, you'll change. You need to change throughout your lives. If you have not changed in the last 10 years, 5 years, couple years, since last year, you need to do some work. Yeah, you need to do some work for sure. But I say all this to say, thank you so much for watching my first actual YouTube video that's outside of my podcast. If you have not seen any or listened to my podcast, go ahead and watch some episodes on YouTube, because I got plenty of content, and you will get another episode next week, actually. So there's all that. But thank you so much for being a part of my journey. being here now, I mean, this is something new to me, so it might be a little rough, but it's okay. We all have to start somewhere, right? But that is what happened. Why I disappeared again for a little bit off, the face of the earth, off the internet, because I needed to deal with a lot of things. So I am back. I'm excited. And let your girl know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe. Never thought I would be saying those words, but yes, here we are. Like and subscribe. All right, y'all. I will see y'all in the next video.